We often think remembering works like pressing play on a saved file, but your brain does not simply replay a memory. Each time you remember something, your brain rebuilds it by bringing together different pieces of information from different areas. In this video, you will learn how memory works, how your brain takes in new information, stores it, finds it later, and strengthens it with practice. Memory has three main steps. First, encoding takes in new information. Next, consolidation helps stabilize that information over time. Finally, retrieval helps you bring the information back when you need it. Encoding is the first step. It happens when your brain notices new information and begins turning it into something it can use. Attention matters here. Information you barely notice is usually much harder to remember later. For example, imagine learning that the hippocampus helps form memories. When you listen, look at the diagram and say the idea in your own words. You give encoding more information to work with. After encoding comes consolidation. Consolidation helps stabilize and organize a new memory over time. Your brain links the new idea with information you already know, so the memory becomes less fragile. Sleep is especially helpful for consolidation because the brain continues organizing information while you rest. Healthy routines like sleeping well, eating regularly, moving your body, and reviewing what you study can also support memory over time. Retrieval means bringing information back when you need it. When you answer a question without looking, your brain has to find the memory. That effort is useful because it can make the memory pathway stronger. A common misconception is that memory improves just by looking at notes again and again. Rereading can feel easy, but that feeling does not always mean you can remember the idea later. Trying to recall the idea without looking is usually a stronger test. So far, we have covered three memory steps: encoding, consolidation, and retrieval. Here's the key idea. The more actively you practice bringing information back, the easier it can become to remember it again later. Want to remember this technique long-term? Tap the link for Quizlet study tools, then jump back into the video. Lock in what you learned and keep going. Now let us use the same memory model with a new example. Suppose you are learning that ventana means window in Spanish. The goal is not just to recognize the word when you see it. The goal is to make it easier to remember later. First, encode the word by connecting ventana to an actual window. Next, consolidate it by reviewing it later, especially after a break. Then retrieve it by covering the answer and asking, what does ventana mean? Memory also works this way for experiences. If you remember leaving your backpack in the library, your brain may rebuild the scene using related clues, such as the room, the table, and what you were doing before class. Because memories are rebuilt, they are not perfect recordings. Some details can shift, especially when we are distracted, stressed, or trying to fill in gaps. This is why memory can feel vivid, but still be partly inaccurate. Try this simple routine. Look at the idea, close your notes, recall it out loud or write it down. Then check your answer. If something is missing, review it and try again later. You can also support memory with brain-friendly habits. Regular sleep, movement, balanced meals, hydration, and learning new things all help your brain stay ready to encode, consolidate, and retrieve information. The hippocampus is important, but it does not work alone. Memory depends on a network of brain areas. Different regions help with sights, sounds, emotions, meaning, and bringing the memory back when needed. To recap, memory starts with encoding, becomes more stable through consolidation, and becomes easier to use through retrieval. Attention helps information get in. Healthy routines support the brain over time. And retrieval practice strengthens your ability to remember what you know. If you want to practice what you learned today, check the links in the description for Quizlet's memorization guide and study tools designed to help you remember it longer. Keep learning, keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next video.